I have a love-hate relationship with goals. I love setting them because they make me feel more put together and inspired, but I also have a lot of problems with them. I get so happy anytime I reach a goal, but that feeling always wears off. I sometimes care more about the outcome of the goal than the journey of getting there. I struggle to know what I really want, which means I end up setting too many goals. And there's so many goals I don't achieve, and they seem to end up on my list of New Year's resolutions every single year. And I'm not alone. 92% of people don't achieve the goals they set. I think the problem is most of us don't have clarity before we set goals, and that means society's noise, expectations, and pressures get in the way. We end up setting goals based on what we should do, or based on what we see other people doing. At least that's what I did. My goals used to include things like getting the highest marks at dental school, but then I became a dentist and realised I didn't even enjoy it, so I knew I had to change the way I set goals because my goals weren't getting me any closer to the life that I wanted. So today I'm going to share what I do now to set authentic, meaningful goals. And I've made a Notion template for you that you can use if you prefer digital note-taking or as a prompt if you'd rather use pen and paper. Reflection gives you the opportunity to find stillness in the noise, untangle the chaos, and sift through your experiences and feelings. You'll find clarity, which is why I think it's the perfect thing to do before setting any goal. I'm using this time to look back on 2022, and I'm asking myself things like what I've accomplished, what I've struggled with, and what memories I've made. This tells me what I want to take into 2023 with me, but I also think about what I want to leave behind, as that's going to have a huge influence on my goals. So for me, this was how much I prioritized work. I do think work-life balance is somewhat impossible, especially if you're a motivated person, but I just don't want my career to be my focal point. And this is exactly why I like to think about life areas and values instead of just goals. Too many of us focus on career goals, but I don't think we always need more goals in that area. So I'm looking at each area of my life and I'm writing one sentence about them. So this could be how I currently feel with that area or a memory from the past year that sums up that area for me. I'm also looking back at my goals for 2022 and putting them into separate columns for what I achieved and what I didn't achieve. And then I'm trying to figure out why I achieved some of these goals and not others. So the goals that I managed to achieve were leaving dentistry, going on more dates with my husband, being consistent on YouTube, working on my posture, and reading more. And I think I managed to do these goals because I had a really strong intention and emotional connection to them. But I also made it easier for myself. So for example, I joined my local library, which meant that I could pick 2 or 3 books up at a time and not worry about the price and having to finish the book even if I didn't enjoy it, which is something that really stopped me from reading in the past. There are also a lot of things that I didn't do. So I didn't make more of an effort with my friends and family in London. I didn't run or do freelance work, drink 1.5 litres of water every day, or draw and paint every week. Now, all of these goals were within my control, but I think some of them were too vague. Like making more of an effort with friends, what does that even mean? Some of these goals were also based on what I thought I should do. So running, I don't enjoy running at all, but I just felt so bad that I just don't do enough cardio. And then I think some of these goals were just too overwhelming, like drawing and painting every week. It just didn't really give me much room to have an off week. So now we've got all of this clarity, which means we can move to setting new goals. I first make a brain dump of all the goals that I think I want to set without worrying too much about if they're a good goal to set or if I'm setting too many. But then I go through each goal one by one and use the DART system, and I have a whole video on this. But for each goal, you want to ask yourself, why do you want to achieve this? And be really honest with yourself here. How will this goal really change your life? So when my YouTube channel hit 25,000 subscribers, which is still crazy, I started to fantasize about hitting 100k and what it would be like to receive that silver play button. But then I realized, hang on, things would be exactly the same as things are now. I'd still be making YouTube videos in the exact same way that I am now, so it's not really going to change my life. But on the other hand, leaving dentistry, that has been a goal of mine for quite a while. And I had a really clear intention behind that because I wanted to work from home so that when I have kids, I can actually be around. And that was obviously going to have a real impact on my life. Next, ask yourself, are you emotionally connected to this goal? So let's go back to the running thing. I mean, I don't enjoy it. I'm not connected to it in any way. I am connected to my health, but I can look after my health without having to run. Is it within your control? You know you can't control the numbers that come up on the scales, but you can control how much you're having takeout. What area of your life are you trying to improve and why? So go back to your life areas and values and think about whether you actually need goals in each one. Sometimes it's okay to be happy with where you are rather than trying to improve everything. So just focus on the areas that are off balance or that need more of your focus. So using the DART system, you can filter your goals to the ones that are authentic and meaningful enough to you. And then it's time to break those goals down. So when we set goals, we usually think about our ideal self, but that's not realistic. Sometimes we have bad days, we're unmotivated, or life happens, and that shouldn't make us feel like we're a failure. So take each goal and think about the ideal version and the minimum version. So for example, one of my goals is to keep a daily yoga practice. So in an ideal world, that would mean me practicing on my mat for 1 hour every morning, but that kind of sets me up for failure on my off days. So the bare minimum of that goal would be to do 5 minutes of stretching and breathing exercises once a day. I mean, I already feel better about that. And now it's time to insert a James Clear quote because apparently you can't talk about goals without mentioning him. Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. So what systems will help you to achieve your goals? Think about your routine, any rules you want to set, and how you can make it easier or more fun for yourself. So let's say you want to start writing every day. Maybe it'll become part of your morning routine, so you pair it with your morning cup of tea, which you have every day anyway. You might make it more fun by having a writer's playlist, and you might make it easier for yourself by having backup writing prompts. Goals don't have to be overwhelming. You don't always even need them. But when you do set them, just make sure they're your goals and not someone else's. Make sure you connect with them and fit them into your life in a way that makes sense for you. And in that way, you just get closer to yourself and the life that you want.